It's playtime with the Sleepy Boys.
Alright, boys and girls, it's time to grab your cup of coffee and sit down on that there couch. 'Cause it's me, Mark. You're Brandon.
I am Brandon.
You bitch. You're supposed to follow up.
And you're going to be a
I like this follow-up.
Tell me how to.
And, welcome to Sunshine. Wait, fuck. I always fuck up the name. Sunrise with the Sleepy Boys.
Sunrise and Sleepy Boys.
So,
I am sleepy.
yeah, fuck, I'm so tired. But, so, like,
Joined that. It's starting the day off with that vape nation.
you gotta hit the vape right now, dude. That's what's keeping me alive right now. So we decided that since we hit the halfway point of 2020, and we just decided we want to talk about how fucked up this year has been. Like, holy shit. I thought 2018 and 2019 were rough, but like, fucking 2020 has been something else entirely.
She's insane.
Yeah, it's been, it has certainly become, this year's gonna be known as a landmark year. This is like our generation's 1969.
Hey. I don't know what happened in 1969, so like, I
A
can't.
lot happened in 1969.
Yeah.
What, you had the moon landing, you had the Manson family murders.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true. The moon landing happened. But yeah, like most years, you know, they're kind of a roller coaster. This year has just been like the whole ass theme park.
Yeah.
Like let's break down. Let's talk about January. Okay, so in January alone, fucking January.
Yeah. January.
We started off the year with protests in Hong Kong for their independence, which God knows they deserve it. China really just needs to let them have their fucking thing.
Well, it's so crazy because Hong Kong's a very unique situation because of the British having kind of reign over them for so long. And then just out of nowhere, I mean, they were like this little island in the middle of, essentially, around China. And then you've just got this little British colony, and then, like, during the 90s, they're like, all right, y'all
have some fun out in here.
Y'all gonna be fine on your own.
Why are the British rednecks? That's my question. Just a bunch of fucking backwater hicks.
Well, the British are nothing more than just hicks with fancy accents.
You know, my favorite part of British accents is that they didn't have them, like, during the Revolutionary period. It was after America, like, won their independence, and they wanted to be like, fuck those Americans, that they started using actual accents. I love it.
That's the most spiteful thing. It's so petty.
I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, so we started with Hong Kong with their protests, which again, totally like justifiable. Like I get it.
Yeah.
And then fucking Australia was on fire. There were
Good Lord, yeah.
There were airstrikes in Iran from America. To clarify, we were airstriking in Iran.
Yeah.
Basically, we were on the verge of fucking World War III.
Oh yeah, we were right there at the front door. We were knocking on it too.
Like and like the UK left the United Nations. I think it was also Gibraltar also left it. Like a lot of shit went down just in January. You know, we started getting the impeachment trials for Donald Trump. Like, and then all of a sudden, like
forever ago.
I know, it feels like that was so long ago, but it was this year. Like,
yeah.
It was this fucking year. That's how bad of a year we've had. It's like the impeachment of Donald Trump is just kind of like a footnote at this point.
Now, could you imagine had that gone differently, what our situation would look like right now?
Jesus Christ, I don't even want to. Like that's so.
We would have had a Mike Pence run.
Oh God.
I don't know what's worse.
Like this is a really fucking disturbing like what if story. Like on one hand it's bad, on the other hand it's bad. Like there's no good solution here.
No, there is never.
Yeah.
It was never going to be easy. There's never going to be a right answer.
Oh,
But
that's true. Yeah.
there is a certain thing that you could have done better.
I mean, a lot of things, but yeah. And then, like, right as the end of January's rolling around, we get the first hints about, the COVID pandemic. The World Health Organization's like, hey guys, just so you guys have it on your radar. There's this little thing, it might kill people. We don't know.
Well,
We'll
emails
see.
were going out as far back as like October.
Yeah, and like, there's a lot of people that are speculating because in California there were a lot of people getting sick. And everyone just chalked it up to like pneumonia, the flu, things like that. My sister actually got sick when we were in San Diego over the holidays. And after like revisiting and looking over all the symptoms of coronavirus, like we were like, she might have actually straight up had COVID.
Maybe.
And like,
I mean, they don't know exactly when the first cases would have gotten here because we had no idea what it was. But
yeah,
they said it would be pretty safe to assume that if you had flu-like symptoms and didn't test positive for the flu, you probably had the first strand.
yeah, and it's entirely possible that happened. And God, fuck, that's scary, isn't it?
I mean, not really. I mean, if you lived.
Yeah, I mean, if you lived, like, fuck, like I don't even know what the death toll for COVID-19 is at this point.
I think the last thing that I saw was 111,000.
I think it's higher than that. I think we're in America alone probably, but like I think like internationally we've hit like over 400,000 deaths so far.
Let me see.
I got the wiki page pulled up. Let me pull up the.
Yeah, but they're not always as accurate.
That's fair. That's valid. So the thing that's funny about January is like, if you're looking at the calendar of events that happened, like almost every single day there was.
Okay, yeah, we're sitting at 117,000.
Jesus. But like
we're quickly getting to 118,000 by the looks of this.
Yeah, well,
we've had 2.12 million confirmed cases.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jason Bourne. Fuck, that's old. That's an old fucking thing. Yeah, so
Still,
like January.
I still love it. It's still a great meme.
Like January, you couldn't like turn without seeing some news happening on pretty much a daily basis of some like potentially world-threatening thing happening.
I think everybody was just watching, and we're kind of just sitting there. I was speaking of memes. I love the meme where it's like, all right, so who had murder bees for May?
Speaking of the fucking murder bees, we had the murder hornets, and they were like, it was like, oh yeah, guys, watch out, these fucking killer hornets from, what was it, China or Japan or something like that?
Yeah, it was somewhere
in Eastern Asia, and like that was like a huge deal for like a week, and now it's all like, oh yeah,
right.
By the way, they're gone. We're good.
They put out that one video of that murder hornet being devoured by a praying mantis, and they're like, so yeah, here's the size comparison.
Okay, guys, looks like we're fine. We'll be totally fine.
We'll be fine. Just everybody have a praying mantis on their shoulder, and you'll be fine.
I mean, I'd fucking have a praying mantis. Those things are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then we get to February. Like it just like things just they didn't get better. They like we had the stock market crash for the first time like that it's crashed this hard since like 2008.
Yeah.
We've had. Well, I mean that pretty much sums up February, honestly.
Well, I mean February was just that whole wave of misinformation and downplaying of the situation from the presidency and the current administration. And I mean, there was so much downplay that even I was like, well, if they're not worried about it, they don't seem to be worried about it.
Jesus Christ, no kidding. Like
I think we're gonna be fine. Like, right? Why?
If we had taken it a little bit seriously,
like, don't get me wrong, I don't like Donald Trump. I was like, at the same time, like, he's still the president. He still has like a team of people that work for him, and they've got to have a hold on this situation at least a little bit, right? So if they're telling me not to worry, I shouldn't be too worried.
I mean, to be fair,
I'm getting phone calls from my mom telling me to stock up on canned goods and toilet paper because I'm not going to be able to leave my house. And I'm like, Mom, you're being ridiculous. Just
I will
not going to be
lie.
that way.
I had the same thoughts. I was just like, people are fucking panicking. This is ridiculous. Everything's going to be fine. And then, like, you know, give it a couple of weeks and everything just goes down the shitter even more. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually a real thing.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, and then I had to do the extremely difficult thing of telling my mom that she was right.
Ugh. Here's the great thing is I have not had to do that to my parents. My parents, I'll leave Mark and Vicky's name anonymous, but yeah, totally did that. My father is convinced, and I feel safe saying that because there is no way in hell he is ever going to listen to me saying a thing on this podcast. My father is convinced
cannot wait when that's proved wrong.
Oh my God, that would be.
I'm gonna come out with our own little Maury Povich little meme.
Oh, continue
Just for
with
this moment.
Here's the thing, though, is I'm not worried about it. My dad is what's the right word for him? Like, he's like the opposite of a doomsday prepper. He's just convinced that our president has everything in hand. But his own at-home remedy for his immune system and beating the COVID situation is garlic and blueberries. Him and my mom.
Okay, so you've got a superfood and a lot of antioxidants. Which is great. I mean, those are great for your, your immune system and your body and stuff. But that's
not all you need, buddy.
It's not going to cure anything. And I mean, you eat a lot of garlic, it's going to make it's going to help with your heart and stuff. But
yeah, well, my dad's solution
and
is,
you're going to have disgusting breath. But
their entire diet right now is garlic and blueberries. I'm not kidding when I say he was like, yeah, I roast up 20 cloves of garlic every morning for me and 20 cloves of garlic every morning for your mom. And I'm like, that's phenomenal, but what's that going to do for you? And he's like, oh, I'm going to beat this thing ain't going to get either of us. And I was like, well, what are you doing aside from garlic? He's like, okay, so when you usually go to the store, what's the usual, like they usually measure the blueberries in like ounces and stuff, right? Or like you get the little container of blueberries, right?
Sure.
His measurement is, I have a gallon of blueberries on the seat next to me. A gallon of blueberries. And I'm just like, you're eating a gallon of...
Does he eat that much?
That is his daily food intake. 20 cloves of garlic.
Terrible.
And a gallon of blueberries. I like blueberries as much as anybody else. But I'm
not going to fucking sit down and eat a goddamn gallon of blueberries every day and 20 cloves of garlic.
Those fuckers are so expensive. Like,
he's going to end up looking like Veronica from...
It wasn't Veruca.
What's her name? The blueberry girl.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Violet. She was turning violet.
It's fucking too early for me to get into Willy Wonka shit.
Oh, it's always too early for me to get into Willy Wonka shit.
This is your fault for making me do this so early.
Hey, man, I was like, let's do it at 9 o'clock. And you're like, let's do it at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, I still would have been like this getting up.
You're always grumpy getting up. I've seen you first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I'm terrible in the morning.
Oh, fuck. But like, yeah. No, and okay, so, again, with things that are becoming footnotes to 2020, we've all but confirmed the existence of aliens. Do you remember the Air Force released photographs, like official photographs of?
Yeah, that wasn't even at that point when if they released that. They're like, this is the perfect time to release this news.
Like what the
nobody's
fuck?
Gonna care.
Like
I watched, I looked at it and I was like, huh.
I know. I was like, oh wow, they're finally fucking owning up to that. All right.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't. I did not care at all. Meanwhile, Tom DeLonge of Blink-182 is just sitting there like, God damn it, it's about time. I put so much money and work into getting aliens.
Like, it was so fucking, like...
We lost Tom DeLonge to aliens. He's no longer part of Blink-182 because of fucking aliens.
No, yeah, like, seriously, it's just so, like... At this point, it was just like, wow, it took this long? Alright, cool. And, like, I was just so fucking shocked.
They could
about
have
this.
released... They could have released that the Kennedy assassination was a total inside job that Lyndon Baines Johnson was in on and actually was the man on the grassy knoll who shot the president. And nobody would have cared.
No, seriously, everyone would have been just like, oh, wow, shocking. Like, at this point, the government could get away with releasing just about anything. And we'd all just be like, oh, wow, shocker, they finally came out and said it.
Yeah, nobody would have cared. No one would have bat an eye.
During this quarantine, I mean, you can't even call it a quarantine anymore. People aren't on lockdown, even though, like, honestly, we
still
should
have
be.
stay-at-home orders in some cities, like Austin's one of them.
Yeah,
nobody's listening.
Nobody's fucking listening. Like, I'm not kidding. So I went to a haunted house last night.
Which you went to a haunted house in the middle of June.
So the haunted house that we have in Salt Lake, it's called Nightmare on 13th. It's actually on 13th Street, and it's usually.
I would hope so. I swear to God, if it was one of those dumb things where it's like it's Friday the 13th theme.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th. No, so what they do is they're usually open over Halloween, as one would expect. But also they every Friday the 13th they open up and do like a one night thing. So it's a huge deal because like in Salt Lake, because of the high volume of Mormon population, there's not really a whole lot to do. Like as far as like the like
are
thrills
you
or anything.
insinuating that Mormons might be boring?
No, what I'm insinuating is that there's so few things that Mormons can do for thrills. Like they can't drink, they don't drink coffee.
I know.
Like, so it's like they have so few things that they can do for thrills, and like this haunted house is where they go for their thrills, right?
I still feel like you're just saying that Mormons
are boring.
boring.
Yeah, Mormons.
And you're not wrong.
I lived here in my youth. I'm very well aware.
In your youth?
Yeah, in my youth. That's not offensive because it was named after the Utes.
Yeah.
So anyway, like there were so many people that got tickets for this haunted house. Oh right. So there was Friday the 13th was last
Wait, were
month.
there a lot of people at this thing?
Dude, I was shocked at how many people were there. So
was there any social distancing happening?
yes, the haunted house was really good about keeping parties 6 feet apart.
Oh, that's good.
Like they were doing a phenomenal job. Like normally it's one of those haunted houses where if you give consent,
Whoa, what kind of haunted mansion is this where you're giving consent?
like because at a lot of haunted houses, the actors in the haunted house can like touch you and stuff.
Nope, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I absolutely I fucking hate it. But so because of COVID, they were like none of the actors would even make physical contact with you. You had to stay 6 feet apart from the parties in front of you and behind you. All of the workers that weren't wearing like actual masks were wearing.
Man, nothing's as scary like some guy coming at you and then stopping 6 feet away with a chainsaw.
Well, because all of the actors were actually wearing like masks, and from my understanding, they were also wearing like the breathing masks underneath their like costume masks.
Oh God, those poor people.
They were like, I felt like I gotta be honest, like I've worked in a haunted house before, and working in a haunted house is rough enough, but when you have to go through all those extra steps, it's just a fucking nightmare.
The guy's not screaming at you and trying to scare you. He's just breathing really hard and can't catch his breath.
Please just kill me. I'm not kidding. This isn't part of the act. Just kill me.
It goes completely out of character.
Put a gun to my head and end it all. I wish they gave me a real knife so I could just seppuku myself.
Man, that scarecrow is really upset about life.
Yo, they
Does
actually
not seem happy.
But yeah, so like, and there were so many people there. They were like, okay, so here's your check-in. Just scan the QR code, and once your party is like up to go, we'll send you a text message. And I was like, oh, there were, I would say, like we got there when they opened the door at 7:30. We ended up waiting until like 9:15 just to get in the door.
Good Lord.
And it was scary. I got scared. I was a little bitch. I screamed like a bitch.
God, the idea of you screaming, like that coming out of like your frame, because you're a tall dude. And then on top of that, just the the sound of sheer terror and screaming.
Like when we were going up, when we got there, I was looking at this castle and I'm like, man, this is the campiest fucking haunted house I've ever seen.
It would be like watching Vincent D'Onofrio scream like a little girl.
Like when he got his arm bitten off in Jurassic World. I'm guessing you haven't seen Jurassic World?
Is Vincent D'Onofrio in there?
Dude, he's the douchebag in that movie.
Is he?
Dude, are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, he's so like the guy that works for InGen in Jurassic World. That's him.
Hold on, I need to check this.
Are you really doubting me at this point?
I'm not saying I'm doubting you, I just need to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, so anyway, like when I got there, I was looking at it, I was like, this looks so campy, and like I'm thinking, okay, so it's a bunch of Mormons, like how bad could this possibly be? And I was like, I was just like, oh, this should be fun. Like I'm excited for this. And I get inside, and like as soon as I step through the door, total bitch mode kicks in. I'm like, oh no, like this is actually happening now. And I'm it's like I don't do well with like thrills. I'm not the kind of guy that's like a thrill seeker. So I'm like in line, like laughing and joking with who I was there with, and like. As soon as we get to the door and they're like, okay, so it's a party of 2. You guys go and stand next to door number 2. They're gonna go in. You're gonna take a quick couple of pictures, and then you'll get to actually go into the house. Or into the haunted house part. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And we get into
was.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm sorry.
I told you. Man, I know when Vincent D'Onofrio is in a film. I recognize him. So like we're standing in the photo area, and because it looks like the backstage of a theater, like of a theater department, right?
Okay.
And
which you're very well acquainted with.
Super well acquainted with. So when I see a doorway, I'm thinking, fuck, something's gonna pop out of that doorway so they can get a legitimate fear shot on us. Yeah. And I don't. So like they're like, all right, let's get the first picture. Let's just have smiles, and we had our masks on, obviously.
And because it was a theater department, you were terrified that they actually had your dad that was going to run through that door screaming at you and make you relive traumatic memories from high school.
That's all it was just them making.
Oh my God, I knew it.
Experiences. But so like they're like, okay, so just smile for the first shot, and then we'll do like you guys screaming on the second shot, and I'm like. I'm like, okay, hold on. So first shot's just smiling. They're like, yeah, just a quick smile. And then I'm like, cool. So they snap the first picture, and I'm like, they want fear, so they're gonna probably try to actually terrorize us. So I'm keeping an eye on the door that I see, because like there's like the door that we're supposed to go through, and then there's just like a second door. And I'm like, I've heard the people doing their scream shots before, and it sounded like true fear. And I'm like, I don't know that I trust you guys. I don't know
that
you're not going to pop something out of that door. So, like, I'm already going in absolutely fucking horrified about what's going to happen. Nothing actually happened. They just snapped a second picture, and I looked genuinely terrified. But it wasn't because I was screaming. I was so mentally and emotionally set up to be scared that I was scaring myself.
So that gets into one of the pinnacles of fear that I absolutely love, which is why, like, one of my favorite movies is from like the 50s. It's a black and white film. I think it's called like House on Haunted Hill, or like Haunted House, or
the Haunting of Hill House.
Maybe that's. It's been so long since I watched it, but I found it to be one of the most legitimately terrifying movies I had ever seen, because it really just left things to your imagination. There were no monsters or anything. There weren't any like jump scares either. It was just the kind of the director just toying with you.
Just the suspense. Like, I can handle suspense.
Pure building of suspense.
I love suspense films. I have no problem with suspense films. It's jump scares that do it for me. And that's all that this was. No, let me phrase it. There was a lot of suspense, like a lot of just build up.
Sorry, The Haunting of Hill House was the Netflix.
Right, so
series.
The Haunting of Hill House was the movie was, or the TV series is based off of the book The Haunting of Hill House,
right,
which was made into a movie back in the 60s.
Make sure.
But back then, but this one from the 60s was just called The Haunting. But fuck, I don't know.
The Haunting, 1963.
Yeah. But speaking of, I've been watching The Haunting at Hill House. I love it. It's great. Off topic.
So, have you finished it?
No, I just got to the I think I just hit the halfway point. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the series, stop listening for about 15 seconds. I just got to the point where Nell died.
Okay, cool.
Like where it actually shows her dying. And let me tell you, that fucked me up. Like I was watching, I was like, no. All right, so we got a little sidetracked there, but like on the topic of the movie industry, can we talk about how fucking Trolls World Tour fucked up the movie industry going
Has the
forward?
potential to completely derail the movie industry as we know it.
Like for real, like the last movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not like unhappy about that because I actually really enjoyed that movie.
So it's actually on Jasmine and I's watch list because we've heard such good things about it.
Like if you want like 90s Jim Carrey, this is 90s Jim Carrey again.
I mean, that's kind of what the trailers kind of lead to. Like you're going to get like this crazy snapshot, like, you know, just true performance.
I was so worried that it was going to be just like, that's all you got was those little snippets you saw. But no, it was that version of Jim Carrey all throughout.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And also like...
it's definitely on our watch list. We're definitely going to do it at some point.
Yeah, and hearing Ben, when I heard that Ben Schwartz was going to be voicing Sonic, I was just like, really? Like, yeah, you're going to have fucking you're going to have John Ralphio, whatever, voice this guy?
Yeah, John
And then
Ralphio.
I heard it, and I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, overall, really good movie. Anyway, Trolls World Tour proved that people don't need to go to the theater to spend money to watch a movie because people spent fucking hella money on watching Trolls World Tour at home.
So much more money than what was originally projected for that movie to make.
Dude, the thing is, that's the third Trolls movie. That's not even like
Wait a minute, no.
Yeah.
The second one. That's the second one.
I'm sorry, it's the third
You're
Trolls...
thinking about the holiday
I'm
one.
thinking of the holiday one. You're right. But it's still, like, people don't usually spend, like, that much
I mean,
on
I'm sure they would love that you consider the holiday one a Trolls 2.
So the thing about the Trolls holiday movie is when I first experienced that, I haven't watched it. I just know of its existence. It was when we were road tripping from Salt Lake City to San Diego for the holidays, because my niece watched that fucking thing on loop for hours. So I would fall asleep in the car to the beginning of the Trolls movie, or the Trolls holiday special, and then wake up like a couple hours later and it's still playing. Didn't realize it's because she would just replay it over and over again.
Who's this?
So I was like,
gotcha.
I'd wake up, like I'd go to sleep at like 10 o'clock in the morning, wake up at noon, and it's still playing. I'm like, man, this is a fucking long kids movie. What's going on? So you see where I'm coming from when I think that Trolls World Tour is the third one. But
I want to see. Oh yeah, no, I absolutely understand.
So we see that like Trolls, the original Trolls made like 346 million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So on they did an article on Cinema Blend back on April 28th that said that as of that day, that Trolls World Tour had made within the 3 weeks of its initial release, it made over $100 million in rental sales. That's within 3 weeks.
Yeah, which is insane. And that's just domestic. If we're talking just like domestic, and then, I mean, that's already, for an animated film, that's for kids.
Yeah, no, like,
I mean,
shit. Like, I think up to that point, I think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom might have held the record for a bit, but, like, that just fucking blew it out of the water, dude.
Yeah.
So, but, hey, good on Trolls 2. I'm probably not going to watch it.
I've seen a little part of it because I was over at my bass player's house and his little son was watching it.
And so you laid right on the floor, right in front of the TV on your
Feet
belly with your
kicked
legs
up.
kicked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as
No.
one does.
No, actually, I went and played music. Jasmine watched it with. Because
Yeah,
Jasmine loved the first Trolls movie.
I got about 5 minutes in and I was like, this sucks. And I turned it
See, and I said the same thing, and Jasmine said the same thing too. And then
Oh,
she
jeez.
just kept watching it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is actually really good."
on. So February was a bitch.
Boy, was it. Okay, look, we've been talking for quite a bit already, but we're gonna have to cut this in half because otherwise this is gonna be a super long episode.
All right. Well, I think that we can put a pin in this hat for now. Yeah. And then we'll be back on Monday with the second half of what we've had from 2020 so far.
Yes.
Yes. And in the meantime, to tide you guys over, Brandon wanted to talk very heavily about Plandemic. So we'll have a little short mini episode coming out real soon about Plandemic. And then on Monday, we'll have the big bad boy of 2020, part 2.
It's a reluctant conversation of Plandemic because I hate bringing it into the conversation, especially now since we're a little bit past it where people aren't talking about nearly as much.
But it's still a very important footnote in this
Still
year.
important to what's happened, and it still infuriates me.
Yeah.
Even as we record this and I'm wrapping at the tail end of a vacation, I got into it with some family members that totally are just believe in it.
All right. So we've talked about January and February. Then we got derailed. Let's talk about March. The events in March can be summed up in two things.
You mean Clusterfuck March?
Clusterfuck March. Everything closed. Italy was the first nation that went on total lockdown on, I think it was the 9th of March. And everybody else kind of just followed suit after that global pandemic, status. And also, like on a less terrible note, North Macedonia joined NATO. So like, I don't know what that means, but like they did it.
Yeah.
Then April came around and more shit closed down.
Well, and so also I think with March we should really address how, I mean, because yeah, everything closed, but
Dude, March was a fucking nightmare.
I don't watch the news.
I
typically.
hate the news.
Because I don't like watching the news.
It's so depressing all the time.
I get my any important news that I need to find, like either friends will tell me or I'll see them share it on Facebook or something, and then I kind of go down the wormhole from there as far as researching and building my own opinion off of things.
Yeah, as one does.
But I know we mentioned it at like the top of this, but just the whole like slew of misinformation that was coming out during March.
Yeah, like holy shit.
I mean, like it was like whiplash, and then of course the news is like everybody is dying.
There are so many deaths. We can't even count how many deaths there are.
Actually, but they could, because they were like another 1,000 people died today, and you're like, holy shit.
I mean,
the case numbers kept climbing.
And like
we had total misinformation coming out from the White House, from the CDC, and what was infuriating for me is I'm like, all right, clearly we've never been in a situation like this, and we're kind of having to go by the seat of our pants. One, because the Trump administration completely got rid of their pandemic task force, their original one. And I think that was back in 2018 or something that they got rid of them.
Yeah, something like that.
And yeah, so this new task force and stuff that we had no idea going into it. I'm sure. I mean, I haven't really looked into like Dr. Birx and Dr. Anthony Fauci's kind of experience at all with. I know they're both part of the Center of Infectious Disease and
the
stuff,
CDC. Yeah.
Well, I think he was part of a different
Oh, a different area. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember exactly what department he worked for. And then on top of that, you had, I don't know what kind of experience, if they were part of that original team that were still brought back. I don't know. I didn't look into who was on that original team at all. But it was just an absolute like mess, because first, of course, the Surgeon General was like, we don't have to wear masks. And then they were like, oh, we should wear masks, which is fine, because you're going to have new information. And that's one of the things that really showed me and bothered me about this whole pandemic experience as a whole, is there are so many people, especially in this country, and I'm speaking purely from this country's perspective. I can't speak for other countries' perspective. For whatever reason, Americans are like, you told us this bit of information, and now you're telling us something new? How dare you? Were you lying to us the entire time? Hold on a second. Are things not allowed to change as we learn things? Like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, heaven forbid anybody decides, to learn anything off of new information that becomes available. Like, one of the other things that has infuriated me lately is everybody's freaking out about, like, oh, it's super rare now, because the World Health Organization came out with that it's actually decently rare for asymptomatic carriers to transmit the disease or the virus, whatever we want to, the COVID.
Yeah.
But they, so originally, because they were like, oh, these asymptomatics, people are carrying it, could be infecting tons of people, and they have no idea. One, that was released like right when we first found out about asymptomatic people, and people are like, how, so they lied to us. Now they made a big deal about this, and now it's not a big deal. Now it's rare. Like, hold up, calm the fuck down. Information is allowed to change as we get new information, and we need to deal with that information as it comes. Sure, was it inconvenience? Was it a terrifying time? Sure, absolutely. I was there. I was having anxiety attacks almost every day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these people are just that. They are people. They are not infallible.
Well, the thing that pisses me off most about the American public as a whole is everyone is just so quick to be like, well, this is obviously a conspiracy. I will say that is just a small, very vocal, it's a small group of people that are just very loud. Yeah.
Also, I mean, we set up, this is the perfect petri dish for conspiracy thought to be.
Oh, absolutely. Like the one that's very commonly heard right now is that fucking 5G causes coronavirus. I don't get that. Like, people are.
So really what that kind of comes down to is the fear of 5G. And look, I'll be honest, I love conspiracy thought. I find it fascinating and very interesting. But for me, in order for it to be interesting, it has to be well thought out.
And this one just
partly plausible. From what I was seeing about like 5G and stuff, is just from, and I saw someone posted up a political cartoon from when they were first introducing electricity and power lines.
Yeah.
Was this like person who was standing underneath like these power lines just being electrocuted, and everything was going to hell in the city because of the power lines. I was like, hold on. Like, this is just the same thing as back then.
Yeah,
it's scared of the new technology that's coming out.
Change is bad, don't you know?
Yeah, change is bad.
But so another theory that I heard, it actually almost directly relates to the 5G thing, is that Bill Gates is the one that created the coronavirus.
Oh, well, you know why. So it's Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci, and they're the ones who are part of some like New World Order or whatnot. The hot new wrestlers, Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci, gonna smack down in the New World Order.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. People are fucking stupid.
yeah.
That can't.
The one thing about as far as conspiracy theories go, that I did not get into any of the 5G arguments because it was just too stupid, and frankly, it wasn't hurting anybody. I was just like, this is just dumb conspiracy thought that old people and people who are susceptible to conspiracy thought are going to totally buy into, and there's nothing I can change about that. The one conspiracy theory that absolutely infuriated me was the clip for Plandemic that they released.
Holy shit. My parents, I told you, they've gone off the rails. Like, they've gone off the deep end, like garlic and blueberries. My mom shared that, the Plandemic video on her Facebook page. My older brother called her out on it. And my parents haven't spoken to any of the children since then. Like,
Well, that's not healthy at all.
Like, we have not heard from our parents, like, in a couple of months at this point.
Have you talked to them? Are you sure they're still alive?
They're still alive. Oh, they're still alive. But, like, I was just...
Because they still post conspiracy thought on Facebook?
Oh, no. After they got called out, they stopped posting, so... no, but no, my sister, my youngest sister, who's currently living with them, is confirmed. I just saw one of her, I'm ashamed to have to say this. I saw she posted a video on TikTok today, so I know that she's at least alive. So
why is that shameful? There's a lot of really cool things that come out of TikTok.
Yeah, there's a lot of not great things coming out of TikTok.
Sure, absolutely. But I've been really enjoying, sorry to go off topic a little bit, but you
like, we never do that, right?
No, never. We never go off topic ever. We are very professional.
Wait, this is sun time with the Sleepy Boys.
The Blaze Boys?
This is the Sleepy Shine Blowjob Boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a stroke.
Yeah. Well, fun fact. I don't. For those of you that know, the Easter Bear has started making appearances on TikTok.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Easter Bear sure has.
Is right. Their Easter Bear sure is something.
But so anyways, finish up my point about TikTok. There have been a lot of new music, like actual like artists that have come out of TikTok.
Oh yeah,
I actually like their releases. They're really good.
Yeah, no, there's no argument from here. It got a bad.
Check out Suburban.
Suburban. I'll write that fucking thing down here. I've actually got a pen and paper right here. Listen.
Oh wow, I can hear it.
It's such a loud pen.
Yeah.
Suburban.
And then of course, I mean, that fueled in. So what was interesting was there were so many people that believed in the 5G thing, but then just rolled the 5G into the Plandemic thing, and it turned into its own monster conspiracy theory.
And then like the other things that like really fucked up everything going on is Trump suspended his America's funding to the World Health Organization, and
I know, in the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle of a pandemic, but
makes sense.
Now, and then
Smart.
also there was also that meteor that was supposed to come very close to hitting Earth in April. We had like I said, the photos from the Pentagon with the UFOs and all that shit, and those were just like, hey, yeah, whatever. It's 2020. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Like there's not even anything to really say about those UFO pictures because it was just like such a minor thing at that point.
Yeah, and the meteor, I mean, the meteor did come very close to Earth.
Right. It came within like,
did you look at the map to see?
No, I didn't.
I always find it, I mean, yes, it was close, but it was close for space.
Right. It was like 0.2 astrological units or something like that. It wasn't like crazy close.
Yeah.
But like the fact that it was as close as it was is still like all right, well, there's another one that we can check off on 2020 bingo.
I'm not a villain.
And then you know the Pope actually had gotten up and he did one of the prayers that they do for like Easter and Christmas. It's like I think it's Urbi et Orbi blessing or something. I don't speak Latin and I'm not Catholic, so I don't know how it's actually pronounced. But the fact that he came out and did that in the middle of a pandemic, like, really shows that the Catholic Church is they understand that this is an issue here.
Well, and then in comparison to American churches,
where we're going to have our services anyways because Jesus heals all, and we've got machines and lasers that'll shoot it from as soon as it enters the building, like sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Fucking hate. Just whatever. You have your own religion.
Yeah, have your religion.
But the thing is, yeah, have your religion. Don't look at your congregation as fat little piggy banks coming in every Sunday morning, because that's what that fucking is. You don't care about their souls. You care about the size of their goddamn wallets and what your coffers look like.
Careful, your Texas is
your
showing.
gins.
Your Texas is showing real hard, bud.
That's my Virginia coming out.
Yeah. But now, while everything is going to shit, there has been some actual things that weren't like super bad that actually happened in April.
Yeah, we had some good news started by John Krasinski.
What was that?
Did you not watch it?
I didn't watch it.
It was just feel good news, just done by John Krasinski.
Yeah, I heard that he started doing that. I haven't watched any of it yet. But like,
it was a lot of fun.
But like, we've actually had some like actual, like, not to say that what he has isn't real news, but like really cool things that happen. Yeah, no, but like, so we've got the European Space Agency has a probe. It's like the Pepsi Cola or something like that. That the Bepi Colombo or something like that. Yeah, it finished its like orbiting of Earth for a while, and it's on its way to Venus. So we might get to see some of them Venus dinosaurs pretty soon here, which I'm excited about.
What, Venus dinosaurs?
Yeah, don't you know the whole thing about dinosaurs? I think Carl Sagan was the one that did this.
There's one more thing.
He was saying like deductive reasoning goes something like this. So when the dinosaurs walked the Earth was the atmosphere was a lot denser and a lot thicker, which meant that things grow larger, right?
Sure.
And it was a lot warmer. It was known to be a lot warmer, a lot more humid back in the dinosaur era. And one of the reasons we've never actually been able to see the surface of Venus is because of how dense the atmosphere is, which in turn means that it's probably hot and humid, which in turn means dinosaurs.
Oh, very interesting. Stream of consciousness deductive reasoning you just brought up there. I would like to bring up one issue. Do you think that Earth was as hot as Venus is now back then?
I mean, have you seen those Earth-Chan photographs?
I don't know.
Oh, buddy, I'm about to change your whole fucking life.
No, please don't.
Nope, I'm doing it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so no, I don't think that Earth has ever been even remotely close to how hot
Venus is on a daily.
Venus is on the daily. So Earth-Chan, of course, because anime fans are fucking degenerates, is just a cute anime character based on Earth. And there's a lot of photos of her, like, you know, begging us to stop polluting her, things like that.
Oh, I have seen that.
My favorite thing with Earth-Chan to date is...
I swear to God.
Oh, what?
If you do what I think you're about to do...
I don't think you know what I'm about to do.
I'm scared.
Is the... because of how the flat earthers are, one of the things I've seen is Earth-Chan complaining, like, I'm not flat, and, like, it shows her with, like, huge badonkaroos. Is that what you thought I was going with?
Yeah.
Are you scared?
Well, not anymore.
Well, here comes the photograph.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. I can't find a good one.
A good one?
Because all the ones I'm finding right now on Google are all, like, the ones of her begging us to stop polluting, and they all look like she's just gotten her ass kicked. Oh. And I'm like, that's so sad. Ah, there we go.
Found it. Sad. That's not fun. Oh,
like, that one's not fun. This one's fine. This one's fine. I'm going to drop it right on in here, potentially. Oh, fuck me. Anyway. But yeah, so what was that? Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Venus. Venus being really hot. There's probably not dinosaurs though. As much as I'd love for that to be a thing.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing. Also, on the topic of space, we discovered a black hole that is visible to the human eye. And like, it was just like, oh yeah, whatever.
As for myself,
yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that on a normal daily basis people would be like, whoa.
Oh my god, it's so cool. Look at it. But now it's just like, oh yeah, cool. I wish this wasn't such a horrible, horrible life experience that we're having as as like a world.
Yeah.
Also with Earth Chan, there's a lot of really bad stuff. But yeah, there was so because again, anime fans are degenerates, even though I can say that because I am one. A lot of people were doing like the black hole eating Earth Chan, and the black hole is characterized as a tall, like well endowed woman.
Oh no!
And I'm sure you can imagine how bad that went.
Yeah.
But,
yep. All right.
So
tell me about this millipede.
So it's not a big fossil. It's actually a pretty small fossil. But the fact that they found this new fossil, like fossilized millipede, is huge because it's the oldest known land animal that they've ever found fossils for, which is like a huge deal. I don't know if you know this, but like every time you find a new fossil, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Because like, and you know me, I was always a dinosaur guy, and I loved...
How many dinosaurs could you name?
God, I think my limit I ever got up to on stage was like 35.
For those of you that don't know, Mark would get up at open mics and just name different dinosaurs.
Yeah, and it was good. Let me see. Fuck, where did they find it? They found it in on the island of Carrera in the Scottish Inner Hebrides, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, so this thing's like over 425 million years old, which for those of you that don't know is almost as old as Brandon's mom.
Why did you bring my mother?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Person.
I saw
that was totally uncalled for.
You know, the fun fact is they didn't actually find a new millipede. I just wanted to call your mom old.
Wow.
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. They actually found
my
it.
My mom's younger than your mom.
That's probably true. No,
it is true.
Joking. I'm joking. They actually did find a millipede in Ireland, of all places, to find something like that. And it's a big deal. We also, of course, had the launch of SpaceX into space, which I don't know if you watched that live thing. But
I did.
Like, that was awesome to watch.
All right, so let me tell you something. I've got a little anecdote about me watching SpaceX because I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out with my bass player and his wife, and Jasmine and I. We went to a distillery in Blanco, Texas. And because I was picking up some bottles of whiskey from them, so we just made a day trip out of it.
Right, because you're an alcoholic.
Sure.
I mean, there's no. I'm alcoholic, so I get it.
I'm not an alcoholic. I just like whiskey.
Okay, you're a whiskaholic.
Sure.
You drink that whiskey.
I mean, I'm drinking it right now.
I figured you were. I could hear you over there just enjoying it.
It's just so good, I can't help it.
Yeah.
So we went to go pick up some bottles of whiskey and just made a day trip out of it because it's like an hour and a half outside of Austin.
Right.
And so we're an hour and a half outside of Austin. We stopped at, on our way home, we stopped at a restaurant. And I was feeling really apprehensive about the whole situation. Just being in quarantine, keeping to ourselves. Our group of people that we hang out with are pretty much just members of my band and stuff. So I really don't hang out with anybody outside of that small circle of people.
Right.
But they were like, yeah, let's stop. They got an outdoor patio and stuff. It'll be fine. I'm like, all right, cool. This will be fine. And they got TVs out on the back patio, and they're streaming the SpaceX launch. I'm like, awesome. We'll get some drinks, get some food. Well, we get in there, and, you know, not a ton of people or anything. It's normal.
Sweet.
The wait staff was not wearing masks, which I immediately was annoyed by.
As you should be, yeah.
Now, granted, I will give a little bit of context as to this restaurant. It is literally just out in the hill country, right outside, like part of Austin, outside Austin. And so, I mean, it is, these people already are not like super social like we are here in the city. So I understand that mentalities may be a bit different.
You hear that?
But that doesn't mean that the virus couldn't spread through them. In fact, rural areas got hit. I mean, it's a rural area, and, so the mentalities are different.
Yeah.
It turns out it was this restaurant's first night having live music since the pandemic.
Gotcha.
And that place was fucking crowded. And it wasn't like that when we first got there. Otherwise, I would have said, hell no, I'm not going in there.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there watching the SpaceX thing. I'm just like, all right, cool. Just want to watch this, no biggie. See how it went and everything. And I straight up had an anxiety attack. And I have never had an anxiety attack from social interactions or being around crowds of people. I have panic attacks from like inner thoughts and my own mini existential crises that I have almost on a weekly basis. So this is the first time I had ever just like, I've got to get out of here. I've got to go. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this. And so I have no idea what I'm going to be like for a good while as far as going out in public and eating at a restaurant again.
No, that totally makes sense though.
Yeah, so that was an experience I never thought would happen, but yeah. So, but other than that, the SpaceX thing, I mean, that looked like fucking sci-fi to me. Those spacesuits and everything, I was like, man.
Well, my favorite part of it was...
straight up is like sci-fi. It's sleek. There are touch screens in there. That thing's automated. Like, are you kidding me?
They had a fucking dinosaur stuffed animal with them, and I was just like, this is great. We're putting a dinosaur in space.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous, but I loved it.
First time in nearly a decade that we had actually had a space launch in the United States.
It was amazing to see that. So, guys, we've talked about a lot of shit for 2020. Like, there's been a lot of stuff going on, and there is an obvious elephant in the room as to things that are going on right now in 2020.
That's what this thing is in here with me.
I keep telling you I'll take him over here for a while, but you won't let me.
Yeah.
Well, it's really... Man, have you tried shipping an elephant? It's so expensive.
It is.
But you gotta have so many peanuts in there to keep him, keep it fed the whole way there.
You are making a huge joke out of a very important topic I'm about to bring up, you fucker. We, as the Sleepy Boys, feel that it would be a huge disservice to put this as a footnote on our podcast here. So we're actually going to be taking an entirely different session to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement that should have ended a long time ago. That should not be an issue. That should not be an issue in 2020. But we're not going to talk about that today. It would be a huge disservice to everybody that's a part of this movement to talk about it at the end. I
don't want to wrap it in. Yeah, I didn't feel right wrapping it into,
the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, which is why I made the elephant joke, because
exactly the
next one's not going to be
the next one is going to be a very, very serious talk.
But yeah, I think both of us can say that we've had a lot of time to think, but I mean, also at the same time, I mean, we're trying to figure out just as much as the next person who's trying to figure out how can we help, and so it's a little bit of a stream of consciousness kind of dealing with what happened, but also we're gonna be blunt, we're gonna be honest, and
it's gonna be
the bullshit. So
yeah, it's gonna be a very real talk. It's not gonna be, oh yeah, fun times that we tend to usually have. But
yeah.
Well, I think we've remembered 2020 to date, haven't we?
Well, I guess we still got a long way to go.
We're only halfway there. Legitimately, we are halfway there, and we are living on a prayer.
Whoa.
Continue.